Good morning. Hope everyone's having a great day. It is Tuesday, March 28th, 2023. A lot on my mind this morning. Been gone for a little while. Sorry about that. Keep telling myself I'll do better. I don't. Kind of the story the way it goes. Get busy, get doing things. Life happens. But there have been a lot of things going on yesterday, especially Monday, that are just weighing really heavy on me, and I think I need to have a therapy session and get it out there. So yesterday, I'm sure everyone by now knows about the tragedy in Nashville, and it is a tragedy. Make no mistake about that. Anytime young children are involved, it's a tragedy. Anytime anyone is murdered, it's a tragedy. And everyone is already running and trying to make it a time for political statements, and I get that. You know, we once had a president who said never let a tragedy go to waste. So it only would make sense that that would be the route that they would go. But I have an alternative viewpoint to the narrative that is going to be pushed, and it coincides a lot with my upbringing, my understanding of history, and that is this, and it's very simple. Living in a free society comes with costs, especially a free society that values our right to protect ourselves as highly as we as Americans do. There is a cost, and that is that bad things can happen and that they will be perpetrated by bad people. The alternative to that, and I don't recall if I've said it on here before, but the alternative to that, and history is irrefutable, absolutely irrefutable on this, and that is that over the course of the last 120 years, 100 million people were slaughtered by their own governments once they were disarmed. Anytime people die, it's a tragedy, especially in these kinds of mass casualty events that involve a firearm. But it is far deadlier based on empirical, historical evidence to be an unarmed society. Just because we have countries in the last 20 years that have decided to disarm their citizens and everything sure seems hunky-dory, that does not change the historical empirical data that 100 million people were slaughtered by their own governments once they were disarmed. I really don't know what else can be said about that. Living in a free country comes with costs, and those costs sometimes are extremely hard to bear. But the costs of living in a unprotected society are far greater. So, enough on that. Just keep Nashville in your prayers. After this event happened, and this is going to lead to my next point, we have no leadership. I hope everyone is aware of that. We have no leadership coming from our White House. If you've seen the clip of the potato in chief after that tragedy yesterday when he came out, I don't know how anyone can believe otherwise that he is completely incompetent, gone mentally. You know, it's one thing to make a gaffe every once in a while. It's another thing that every time you open your mouth, you say something stupid. And what he did and said yesterday was absolutely stupid and wrong and really sounded like it was coming from the mouth of a senile old man. Now, I struggle to share this, and I'm not going to involve who was involved, but I've dealt with taking care of the elderly, someone who I was very close to. And he never, I'm in no way comparing him to Mr. Potato Head, but when you are around that, you can see the cognitive decline. You can see they begin to make nonsensical statements. They start to live outside of reality. They begin to revert back to almost a childlike nature. There's a lot of things that go on in that sort of mental decline that we can see happening, and we have been able to see happening for a long time. It's not good, folks. We're being led by people who are incompetent and who are in severe mental decline, and there are many of them on both sides of the aisle. This is not purely a Mr. Potato Head situation. This is, we need term limits. We need younger blood in the government. We need people who can relate, who are mentally acute running things. And right now we just don't have it. It's not there in so many areas. We have some good ones, I will admit, but the bad far outweigh the good. And that's just the facts. They do. They far outweigh the good. Next point is, and it's being talked about a lot, you've heard me talk about it a lot just in the few videos that I've actually made for YouTube, and that is the state of our currency, our economy, the bank runs, everything that's going on. I hope that the more news that comes out, the more that you see being done, the more that you hear being said, and I hope you're paying attention. The dollar is on its way to a place that no one in my lifetime has seen it. Now, I'm a 70s baby, and a later 70s baby, but I have never in my lifetime seen a point where the dollar did not reign supreme as far as the currencies of the world. And we're seeing that come to an end. When you have leaders of other countries openly telling their citizens to get rid of their dollars, United States dollars, you know we have a serious situation brewing. I am not an economist. I am not a finance guy. I'm not even smart enough to understand what a lot of these guys on YouTube that do trades and all that, no clue. Never paid attention to it. But I'm telling you, if you're like me and something just doesn't feel right, there's a reason for that. I can feel it, and that's kind of how I base what I do, is because it just doesn't feel right. It's scary, and it's something that maybe a lot of us don't know how to prepare for. And I hope that you're taking steps to at least do what you can. A few silver quarters, a few silver dimes, if that's all you can do, that's all you can do, if you can find them. That's another issue, being able to find things. I was in a coin store here in town a couple weeks ago, and his coin case was completely full. I mean, he had all kinds of stuff. And I was in there 3 days ago, and his coin case was completely empty. And I mean empty. He had some nickels, which aren't silver, they were nickels. And I think a couple of graded silver eagles that, you're talking the high dollar, high premium, collector type material. That's it. That's all he had. To go from a full case to an empty case in a matter of 2 weeks, guys, there's people that are seeing it, and they're waking up, and I hope you're one of them. I hope you're among that group. You're going to be glad that you did, I think. Personal opinion, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Get that disclaimer out there right now. It is what it is, but you need to be aware of it. You need to be ready for it. We're seeing so much of that as far as the collapse going on and the different things that are happening around our banks. The banks continue to fail or continue to be in trouble. And if you're like me and you don't understand a lot, but you can see the impact of the so-called mortgage-backed securities or commercial mortgage-backed securities, and how that's going to affect our banks when that finally happens. And I mean, everyone from Elon Musk down is talking about it. Elon Musk is ringing the warning bell of just exactly how detrimental this could be and what it could lead to the insolvency in the banks if they revalue commercial properties. And guys, drive around. I mean, this is not, you don't need a degree to see this kind of stuff. Just go drive around and look at how many vacant commercial buildings are where you live. How much office space is for lease? How many factories? How many shut down malls? How many empty big box stores? Just pay attention and you'll see. You'll see. You know, I listened to one guy who said if you drove around your neighborhood and 6 out of the 10 houses in your neighborhood were vacant, that would affect what your home is worth. And yeah, that's the ratio that we see in commercial buildings. 6 out of 10 of them are empty. So there's a problem brewing. The banks have valued them far higher than they're worth, and they use that value to beef up their balance sheet, make them look better. And when they get revalued, that's when it's going to lead to the insolvency. So do what you can to protect yourself, whatever it takes. Get your food, get your water. But again, one more thing we could talk about is all that's going on with Philly and the water there, and toxic chemicals being dumped into water, and we find out about it days after. Understand, your government doesn't care about you. It just doesn't. It's not here to protect you. It's not here to help you. They no longer exist to serve the people. They exist to serve themselves. And the sooner we realize that, the sooner we can begin to prepare. So food, water, security, barter-ability, gold, silver, all those things. And just do the best that you can to prepare yourselves and your family. Guys, love you. Thanks for checking it out. We'll catch up with you next time.